Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 38 male, am married to my lovely wife, 35 female, of 10 years. Our relationship has seen some ups and downs, but whose hasn't? One of the biggest strains on our marriage is her asshat of a brother, my brother-in-law, who we will refer to as Jack, 32 male, short for jackass. Before I go any further, you guys should know he's disabled. He has chronic pain disorder, which makes it impossible for him to drive. I might sound like the a-hole here, but let me explain. Since Jack started his new job a few months ago, I've been going out of my way to pick him up and drop him off at work. I'm doing this as a favor to my dear wife, who is nothing like a brother. His job doesn't pay enough to Uber to and from work, and since it's only an additional 45 minutes on my daily commute, I figured why not? He's my wife's brother, so he's family, right? Jack is a really nasty piece of work, to say the least. He's rude, condescending, and he often treats others, including myself, like they're beneath him. But due to his physical disability, everyone gives him a pass. My wife and everyone I know pampers him, which I think has contributed to his sense of entitlement. Yesterday, I drove Jack to a work function, which took an additional hour of driving. This function was filled with snobby high-level folks or the VIPs of his company. Jack promised it would only take about an hour, but we ended up staying for over 3 hours. But wait, it gets worse. When Jack was ready to leave, I have heard him yell my name from across the hall while snapping his fingers. Sad to say, I'm sort of used to this treatment. But I wasn't ready for what he would say next. To his work buddies, he said something along the lines of, "My personal chauffeur, referring to me, takes me wherever I need to go, whenever I need to go. These people need to be pinpointed everything and aren't really worth the money I'm paying for." In response, I just tossed him his car keys and said, "Drive yourself home, Jack, and Uber to work tomorrow. I'm done driving you around for free." Frankly, I wasn't thinking straight since all I saw was red. Then I ordered a drive and waited outside for 15 minutes for my ride. I saw Jack looking at me from inside the venue, but he didn't come out the entire time I was outside. As soon as I got home, my wife gave me a verbal lashing for leaving her brother stranded. She also told me off for creating a scene in front of Jack's colleagues. She told me that I have to be more understanding because of his disability, but he humiliated me in front of everyone in his company. All because I was doing him a humongous favor. So, am I the a-hole for not wanting to drive my disabled brother-in-law to work anymore? Update. This got more attention than I thought it would, and thank you for your responses. My wife also wants to thank you guys for laying the hard truth on her. Because some of you asked, my wife drove me to the venue of Jack's work function to get my car. I have a spare key at home. I don't know what Jack did with my old set. The event was over when we arrived, and my car was sitting in the parking lot. Jack is throwing a hissy fit. My wife said he posted something about me on Facebook, but I'm not bothered enough to find out what it is. My wife's dad called to ask how I could do this to Jack, but I wasn't in the mood to explain. So I let my wife do all the talking. Anyway, I'm sticking to my guns since you guys pointed out that I was not the a-hole. Hopefully, Jack learns from this, but something tells me that he won't. Being disabled does not give a person a free pass to be an a-hole, OP. You're not the a-hole, your brother-in-law is. He called you his personal chauffeur, as if that's not bad enough. He talked to you in a very condescending manner in front of people. You did not deserve that. You are doing him a huge favor, and he should be grateful for it. I'm glad your wife understands that her brother is an a-hole now. Stick to your guns, do not apologize to him. He owes you an apology, and do not give him free rides anymore. Story 2. My brother and I are twins, born shortly after our Indian parents came to the US. As brown kids, school was rough, but we were always there for each other. My brother got into an Ivy League school. I got into a good university. In university, I met my future husband and his douchebag BFF, D-bag. So after university, husband and I decided to marry. Major drama followed at home. Husband is white, but brother really stood up for us, and eventually things turned around. I married husband. A year later, my brother went to India for work, He was there for 3 years, met an Indian girl, fell in love, got married, and decided to come back to US in 2015. Sister-in-law got a job in a company where husband and D-bag work. In December 2017, brother discovered sister-in-law was cheating on him for 4 months with D-bag. He was devastated. Sister-in-law even left him for D-bag after New Year's, but D-bag discarded her. Sister-in-law had a mental breakdown and did something that got her deported. My brother became a recluse and started avoiding everyone. In May 2018, he got a really good job opportunity in Qatar. He took it and moved away. But before going away, he gave us the full truth. Husband knew about the affair and even helped D-bag and sister-in-law hide the affair. This caused a major strain on my relationship with husband. Husband has apologized to everyone and deeply regrets everything. My brother just won't speak to him, and my parents are very cold towards him. My brother has kept in contact with us for the past 2 years, and he's making 7 figures in Qatar. He also sends my daughter gifts for her birthday. Last Friday on a family call, he informed us that sister-in-law, after going back to India, got medical help for BPD and low self-esteem. He has been making short trips to India since April 2018 to meet up with her and his in-laws till March 2020. Now, during quarantine, they have talked about living together in Qatar after everything normalizes. He has asked my parents to come join him in Qatar as he never wishes to return to the US. I'm against my parents moving to Qatar since I'd be left without any family here, but I think my parents are considering it. So finally I asked, since he has forgiven sister-in-law, when does he plan to forgive my husband and move on? I would like for things to go back to normal. He said he owes my husband nothing, not forgiveness nor relationship. Even if he forgives my husband, he won't ever forget what happened. This made me lose my mind. I told him it feels like he's punishing me for what happened, especially trying to take mom and dad away with him. Why is he being such an a-hole? He told me my husband is the a-hole. And not everything is about me. He needs to live his own life, and I should too. He gave mom and dad a proposal, they can decide for themselves, then cut off the call. Now he isn't taking my calls and my parents are angry at me. Am I the a-hole? OP, you do know that your parents are adults and can make their own decisions, right? If they want to move out of America, it would be 100% their choice. Your brother isn't kidnapping them and taking them against their will. You're the a-hole for trying to dictate to your brother when he should forgive your husband. Your husband has said sorry, which is good. But it's left up to your brother now. If he never wants to forgive him, then that's his decision. You can't control his feelings. Now for some comments. Lots of a-holes here. You are the a-hole, your husband is a huge a-hole, and D-bag is a huge a-hole. I support your brother entirely. He has no reason to forgive your husband. He went out on a limb for your husband and your husband betrayed his trust. Then you chose to forgive and accept back the man that betrayed your own flesh and blood. I wish your brother and your parents well. You're the a-hole. He has incentive to forgive his wife. He loves her, and that is his choice. He isn't required to forgive your husband, and even if he chose to forgive, forgiveness does not equal reconciliation. Also, your parents can move where they want, when they want. They don't need your permission. Your brother isn't taking them away. He's made them an offer. He's entitled to his own parents. He wants them to move out with them. Just as you can express your feelings towards your parents, you can't control them. You are the a-hole. Your parents can make their own decisions. Like your brother said, he just made the proposal. They may not even take him up on it. Also, he doesn't need to forgive your husband. He can forgive his ex at his own discretion. They have a relationship, history, etc. Your husband to him is just part of a dark part of his life. He covered up cheating. He doesn't owe your husband his forgiveness. Who he chooses to forgive and have a relationship with is his right as an adult. Stop trying to control other adults. You can't. Story 3. So, some background on me. Summer 2017, I was in a car accident and lost my leg, and was wheelchair bound until I got fitted for a new leg the next winter. At this time, I was quite close with my sister. In 2016, she got engaged to a wonderful guy. They set the date for fall 2017. She asked me to come to it and obviously I said yes. Very excitedly, as I love going to weddings. I had everything set and even got their gift shortly after they got engaged. Then comes summer and pop. 1. Goes my leg destined to the ever-consuming fiery maw of the incinerator. In place of this, they gave me some spanky new wheels to roll around in until they can find a new leg of some poor mechanical schmuck for me to use. Pop meaning mangled and severed surgically in this case. So now I'm healing and stuck in a sitting position for all of my traveling needs. Since the wedding was coming up in a few months, I needed to check with my sister to see if their venue was accessible. Thanks Patrick for the reminder about that. Wouldn't have thought about it myself. She said it wasn't, unfortunately. Because I definitely couldn't make it up a flight of stairs on my own, I told her I couldn't go after all. She just responded with, "I wish you would be there." So I said, "I wish I could be too. But wheelchair and all." And she didn't respond to that. The day comes and I send the gift I got along as well as a really, in my opinion, really well-written card saying stuff about how I was happy for her and wished her a special day to go well. The week ends up passing with no message or anything from her, even just a thank you. The week turns into weeks, then to months, and still nothing. I didn't text her for the first few weeks since I felt the ball was in her court. Then after that, it felt awkward to finally say something. On their anniversary, I ended up texting her to say happy anniversary, and she seems to be friendly, though a bit something. I'm autistic, so I don't have any idea what it is I'm trying to describe here. Since then, we've only texted on large holidays and birthdays. Our relationship feels really strained, but neither of us, really any of our family, are good at talking about awkward stuff like this. The whole thing has been bothering me since it happened, so I just need to know if I was an a-hole for not going to her wedding while it was inaccessible and I was wheelchair bound. Edit for some clarifications. 1. I'm also female here. 2. Yes, the venue was booked months prior in late winter and early spring. No, I didn't expect or want her to change the venue just because I was, newly I might add, in a wheelchair. I had simply wanted to know if it was accessible, and once I learned it wasn't, I was chill with it. 3. Yeah, I probably could have made more of an effort to reach out as well. But as I'd said, I felt the ball was in her court. And I was also dealing with a lot of mental and emotional issues at that time that didn't make me think so clearly in the head. 4. As much fun as it sounds to have been magnificently brought up the stairs by a team of very capable, strong ladies, and wouldn't mind it now, at the time I definitely would have had an issue with it, I think. Now for some comments. While I agree you're definitely not the a-hole, my advice is try to talk to her. I see a lot of people saying some pretty bad things about her, but again, it could be that she's being more emotional than logical about it. I think having a better understanding of her perspective would be very helpful in moving your relationship back to where it was. That's pretty selfish of her to be this way considering your circumstances. She's also completely delusional about your current changes. This actually makes me effing mad because I'm sort of in the same situation as you. I didn't lose a limb, however. I now have challenges due to a severe accident I had in the past, and people don't seem to recognize that I have those challenges. Obviously, you had a legitimate reason for not attending, so not the a-hole. But that aftermath makes me want to say everybody sucks here. What's the point of asking who is right? Does it close the rift? It doesn't. At heart, this is a continued failure to communicate. Stop texting and phone her instead. Your sister hasn't shown anger or demanded an apology in her texts, so why are you so afraid to call? She's clearly just as ashamed as you are that it's gone this far. That's the something you feel coming from your sister, shame. Stop twisting yourself in knots about these mental scenarios. Call her now. Don't stop to think about it or you'll reason yourself out again. You wasted 4 years already. Call immediately.